New promising biofuel biobutanol. Background: the biofuel that I chose to research was biobutanol. Biobutanol is a biofuel that is primarily produced by the biological process of anaerobic fermentation, which is with no oxygen. There's also the chemical process, which is hydroformylation of propane. It is used both as a biofuel, an industrial chemical, and sometimes as a fuel additive. Cultivation of sources. The genus of bacteria, which is Cladistrum, is involved in the production of biobutanol, and it is sourced from natural anaerobic environments. This can include soil or plants that are undergoing anaerobic fermentation themselves. The other sources involved can be sugars and starches, most commonly being corn or wheat due to high starch content. Production. Biobutanol is cultivated from anaerobic fermentation by using the bacteria Cladistrum alongside starches or sugars. These are referred to as substrates. The substrates of either sugars or starches are mixed with the bacteria and a fermenter, which is also known as a closed container, to prevent oxygen from being involved since it's an anaerobic fermentation. The process is typically carried out at a temperature between 30 to 35 degrees Celsius. It will typically have a neutral pH, which is going to be 7. The application of clostridium has been suggested as the best economic production of biobutanol. Development status. Biobutanol is still being developed in the industrial scale due to economic limitations. This is for creating mass production, since it can be really pricey to create a lot of it. However, it is available for smaller scales. Current research projects include creating a less economically strained production, and this is again for the industrial scale. The fermentation with Clostridium seems to be the best production process so far. Since there are other processes in which biobutanol can be made, but these might be using fossil fuels, which would be less of a, it would be more of a carbon footprint. Carbon footprint. The impact of biobutanol depends on what resources are being used in the production, which I just previously mentioned. The carbon emission of biobutanol in cases in which corn or wheat is used as a starch, and Clostridium is the bacteria. The carbon emissions would be around 0.5 to 2.5 kilograms of carbon dioxide per liter. However, there could be more emission with extracting the resources that are involved. And this could be extracting, harvesting, and farming of like corn or wheat. The carbon footprint of biobutanol is extremely promising. This is extremely promising compared to other biofuels or just other fossil fuels or fuels that we use. So better than ethanol and gasoline. Economic impact. The economic impact of biobutanol is the biggest issue in production. The costs outrun for both ethanol and gasoline. The substrates cost include harvesting, farming, and transportation, which are considerably raising prices. Market demand is seemingly disinterested since there are other readily available fuels, even though they provide worse carbon emission. For public ground, the biggest efforts for communicating of biobutanol to the public include both government incentives and marketing. Government incentives are pushing to decrease carbon emission and promote different biofuels, while some corporations are running campaigns to promote sustainability and a cleaner energy source. Analysis and plan of action. I believe that biobutanol is an extremely promising biofuel that has already hit the market. It just needs a little bit more research to properly be used on an industrial scale. Biobutanol seems like the best biofuel that has such low carbon emission and could drastically change the state of our environments. A plan of action that I would promote is funding. If funding was not an obstacle, would be to research to creating an easier fermentation process, possibly finding better substrates that are less cost effective, and even different microorganisms that can create biobutanol easier and in large quantities. Thank you. And these are my works citations in which I've received all my sources.